Deep in the desert sands outside of Jeddah, a concrete giant is finally waking up from a long and mysterious slumber. For years, the skyline of Saudi Arabia has been dominated by a skeletal structure that seemed to represent a dream put on hold, a silent monument to ambition that many thought would never be finished. But as we move through 2026, the silence has been replaced by the roar of heavy machinery, the clanging of steel, and the organized chaos of thousands of workers. The Jeddah Tower, designed to be the first building in human history to reach a height of 1 full kilometer, is growing again, and it is growing fast. We are talking about a structure so massive that it will literally change the weather patterns around its tip. A skyscraper that will look down on the Burj Khalifa as if it were a mid-sized apartment block. Today, we are diving deep into the massive engineering breakthroughs, the secretive construction updates, and the high-stakes chess match that has brought this mega project back to life. This is the story of how Saudi Arabia is reclaiming its crown in the global race for the sky. To understand the scale of what is happening in Jeddah right now, we have to look at the numbers, and they are frankly staggering. The Jeddah Tower is projected to stand at least 1,000 meters tall. That is 3,281 feet. You could stack 3 Eiffel Towers on top of each other and you still wouldn't reach the observation deck of this building. For a long time, the project was stalled at about 63 floors, roughly 1/4 of its final height. Skeptics called it a trophy of a bygone era. But in late 2023 and throughout 2024, the Saudi government and the Jeddah Economic Company quietly began inviting the world's biggest construction firms to bid on finishing the job. Now in 2026, those contracts are in full swing, and the vertical progress is visible from miles away. The engineering required to build something 1 kilometer high isn't just a bigger version of building a normal skyscraper. It is a completely different science. One of the biggest enemies of a building this tall isn't gravity. It is the wind. The wind speeds can be double or triple what they are at ground level. To combat this, the architects at Adrian Smith and Gordon Gill designed a triangular, Y-shaped footprint. This isn't just for looks. The tapering wings of the tower are designed to confuse the wind. Instead of pushing against a flat surface and creating massive vortices that could make the building sway, the wind is broken up and diverted around the aerodynamic edges. In 2026, we are seeing the installation of specialized high-performance glass panels that are tested in wind tunnels to ensure they can withstand the immense pressure changes at that altitude. But it's not just about the exterior. Think about the logistics of moving people up and down a 1-kilometer vertical tunnel. If you used a standard elevator, you would be waiting for 20 minutes just to get to your office. The Jeddah Tower will feature some of the fastest and most advanced elevator systems ever created. We are talking about double-deck elevators, traveling at speeds of over 10 meters per second. But there's a biological limit to how fast an elevator can go before the pressure change hurts your ears or makes you feel ill. To solve this, the 2026 update reveals that the tower is using pressurized elevator cabins, similar to the technology used in airplanes, to maintain a comfortable environment for residents as they rocket toward the clouds. The foundation of this building is a masterclass in geophysics. Deep beneath the sand, the tower sits on 270 piles that reach as deep as 105 meters into the earth. These aren't just concrete pillars. They are instrumented with sensors that provide real-time data on the shifting of the earth and the weight distribution of the tower. As the building grows faster in 2026, these sensors are working overtime to ensure that the massive weight of the concrete and steel, estimated at over 1 million tons, is settling perfectly. Any deviation of even a few millimeters could be catastrophic at a height of 1 kilometer. But so far, the reports indicate the structure is as stable as a mountain. What is driving this sudden burst of speed? It's part of a much larger vision known as Saudi Vision 2030. The kingdom is trying to transition its entire economy away from its reliance on oil and toward tourism, technology, and ultra-high-end real estate. The Jeddah Tower is the centerpiece of the Jeddah Economic City, a 57 million square foot development that will surround the tower. By finishing this skyscraper, Saudi Arabia isn't just building a tall office building. They are creating a global landmark that shouts to the world that they are open for business and at the forefront of human achievement. The fast-paced growth we see in 2026 is a direct result of massive government backing and a sense of national pride. One of the most fascinating aspects of the 2026 construction phase is the jump form technology being used. This is a specialized self-climbing formwork system that allows the concrete core of the building to be poured and set in a continuous cycle. As soon as one level is finished, the entire hydraulic system jumps up to the next level, carrying the cranes and the workers with it. In the current phase, the team is achieving a pace of one floor every few days. It is a vertical assembly line that operates 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The night shift is particularly active because the cooler desert temperatures are better for the curing of the specialized high-strength concrete. Heat is a major factor when you're building in the Middle East. If concrete dries too quickly in the desert sun, it becomes brittle and loses its structural integrity. To prevent this, the engineers are using a unique chilling system for the concrete mix. They actually use massive amounts of ice in the mixing process to keep the temperature down until the concrete is safely poured into the forms. Once inside, the thick walls of the tower act as a thermal mass, protecting the interior from the searing heat. As the tower reaches into the thinner, cooler air of the upper atmosphere, the thermal challenges change, requiring the outer layer of the building to act as a sophisticated thermal shield. The 2026 updates also highlight the role of digital twin technology. Every single beam, bolt, and slab of concrete in the Jeddah Tower has a digital counterpart in a massive computer simulation. This allows engineers to predict how the building will react to an earthquake or a rare desert storm before it even happens. In fact, cranes on the top of the tower are guided by high-precision GPS and AI-driven software to ensure that every heavy lift is perfect, even when the wind is blowing at 60 miles per hour. This level of technological integration is what allows the project to move so much faster than it did a decade ago. There's also the human element. At any given time, there are thousands of workers from dozens of countries on site. The logistics of feeding, housing, and transporting this many people to a vertical construction site is a mega project in itself. Safety is the #1 priority. In 2026, the project has implemented wearable tech for all workers. Vests and helmets equipped with sensors that monitor heart rate, hydration levels, and even detect if a worker has a fall. In the high-altitude environment of the Jeddah Tower, where oxygen can be slightly thinner and the wind can be disorienting, let's talk about the observation deck. When finished, it will be the highest in the world, featuring a sky terrace that hangs off the side of the building like a giant halo. In 2026, the structural steel for this terrace is being fabricated off-site with tolerances of less than a millimeter. Getting that massive steel components up to a height of over 600 meters will be one of the most difficult heavy lift operations in history. It is designed to offer a view that literally shows the curvature of the Earth. For people standing on that terrace, the horizon will be over 150 kilometers away. The social and economic impact of the tower is already being felt in the city of Jeddah. New highways, high-speed rail links, and luxury hotels are popping up around the construction site. The tower is acting as a gravity well for investment. International tech companies and luxury brands are already fighting for space in the lower levels of the tower. This demand is what is fueling the 2026 acceleration. The faster the tower is finished, the faster the Jeddah economic city can become a reality, providing thousands of jobs and a new hub for global trade. Critics of the project often point to the environmental cost of such a massive structure. However, the 2026 design updates show a heavy emphasis on sustainability. The tower will feature a sophisticated condensate recovery system. Because the building is so tall, it will literally pull moisture out of the clouds and the humid air from the Red Sea. This water will be collected and used for irrigation of the surrounding parks and for the building's cooling systems. Additionally, the high-performance glass coating is designed to minimize heat gain, reducing the energy needed for air conditioning, which is the biggest energy drain in the region. The vertical growth of the Jeddah Tower is a reminder of the Skyscraper Index, a theory that suggests the world's tallest buildings are often built as a sign of rising economic power. As Saudi Arabia pushes toward its 2030 goals, the Jeddah Tower is the ultimate physical manifestation of that power. It is a statement that the kingdom is no longer just a source of energy, but a center of innovation and architecture. The speed of construction in 2026 is a signal that the hurdles of the past, including funding issues and organizational changes, have been cleared, and the path to 1 kilometer is wide open. But building at this height presents astronomical challenges for the workers at the very top. At 1 kilometer up, you are essentially in a different microclimate. Clouds can form asterisk below asterisk. Thunderstorms can happen while the top of the tower is still in the sun. The cranes used to build the tower are specialized luffing jib cranes that can operate in very tight spaces and endure extreme weather. In 2026, these cranes are being moved up the building using a process called climbing. Lifts itself up and then bolts itself into the new level. It is a slow and delicate dance performed hundreds of meters in the air. Looking at the structure today, you can see the distinctive gills of the building starting to take shape. These are the recessed terraces that provide outdoor space for residents, while also breaking up the wind flow. Each of these terraces offers a unique view of the Red Sea and the surrounding desert. The 2026 progress report shows that the interior fit-out has already begun on the lower floors. While the top is still being poured with fresh concrete, the bottom floors are being fitted with marble, smart home technology, and ultra-high-speed fiber optics. This staggered construction approach, building the top while finishing the bottom, is what allows the tower to be ready for its first residents shortly after the final spire is placed. The competition is also a factor. Around the world, other nations have proposed kilometer-high towers, from the Sky Mile Tower in Tokyo to various projects in Dubai. By speeding up construction in 2026, Saudi Arabia is making sure it stays ahead of the curve. Being the first to reach the 1-kilometer mark carries immense prestige and will likely influence architectural trends for the next 50 years. It is about setting a new benchmark for what is possible for the human race. The Jeddah Tower is also a massive laboratory for materials science. The concrete being used isn't the stuff you use for a driveway. It is a high-performance, self-consolidating mix infused with microfibers and specialized chemicals to ensure it can withstand the immense compressive forces at the base of a kilometer-high tower. In 2026, samples from every single pour are taken to on-site labs and tested for strength and durability. If one batch doesn't meet the exacting standards, the work stops. The precision required is more akin to aerospace engineering than traditional construction. One of the unseen technologies making the 2026 progress possible is the BIM system, Building Information Modeling. This 3D cloud-based platform allows every architect, engineer, and contractor to see exactly where every pipe, wire, and beam is supposed to go in real time. A water pipe trying to share the same space as an electrical conduit. The software catches it before the physical work even starts. This eliminates the need for expensive and time-consuming rework, which was a major cause of delays in older megaprojects. The tower's height also creates a unique challenge for fire safety. You can't just run a ladder up a 1-kilometer building. Instead, the Jeddah Tower is designed with refuge floors every few levels. These are highly reinforced, fire-resistant zones with their own independent air and water supplies, where people can wait safely for evacuation. The 2026 safety updates show that the tower will also feature specialized high-speed lifeboat elevators solely for emergency use. The entire structure is designed to be one of the safest places on Earth, even at its extreme height. As we look toward the 2026 to 2027 window, the visual growth will become even more dramatic. The tower is entering the phase where the tapering becomes more aggressive, meaning the floor plates are getting smaller, and the building is sharpening like a needle. This is the fastest part of the build because each floor requires less concrete and steel than the massive levels at the base. We are likely to see the tower adding several meters of height every week from here on out. The Jeddah Tower is more than just a building. It is a testament to the fact that human ambition knows no bounds. Whether you look at it as an economic engine, an engineering marvel, or a symbol of national pride, there is no denying that it is one of the most significant projects of the 21st century. The fact that it is growing fast again in 2026 is a win for anyone who loves big ideas and daring feats of construction. We are witnessing history being built, 1 meter at a time. The tower is also intended to be a vertical city. It will have schools, clinics, gyms, and even indoor parks. The idea is that you could live, work, and play within the tower without ever having to leave the building. This urban density is a new model for sustainable living in extreme climates. By concentrating thousands of people in one vertical structure, you reduce the need for sprawling car-dependent infrastructure and make it much easier to manage resources like water and power. The 2026 updates show that the building's AI brain is being programmed to manage this vertical city, optimizing everything from elevator traffic to air quality in real time. As the structure pierces the boundary layer of the atmosphere, it becomes an important site for meteorological research. Instruments at different heights on the tower are already collecting data on air quality, wind patterns, and humidity in the region. This information is invaluable for understanding the desert environment and for predicting future weather patterns. The tower isn't just a part of Jeddah. It is becoming a part of the Earth's atmospheric monitoring network. The financial scale is equally impressive. The total cost of the Jeddah Tower and the surrounding economic city is estimated at over $20 billion. While this is a huge sum, the projected returns in terms of tourism revenue, real estate value, and international prestige are even higher. The 2026 momentum is tied to a new wave of international financing that sees the Jeddah Tower as a safe bet now that the initial hurdles have been overcome. It is no longer a question of if the tower will be finished, but exactly how quickly. Space inside the tower is being sold at some of the highest price points in history. Luxury penthouses at the very top are expected to go for tens of millions of dollars. These sky mansions will offer a lifestyle that is literally above everyone else on Earth. The 2026 interior design previews show floor-to-ceiling windows made of specialized glass that blocks out the intense UV rays while providing a clear view of the stars, which are much brighter when viewed from 1,000 meters above the sea level. For the people of Jeddah, the tower is a source of immense excitement. It is a landmark that identifies their city on the global stage. As the tower grows fast in 2026, it is becoming a part of their daily life. A constant presence on the horizon that reminds them of the future their country is building. It is a symbol of hope and progress, a concrete and steel promise that the best is yet to come. In the final stages of the 2026 update, we are seeing the beginning of the spire construction. The spire isn't just a decoration. It houses the communication arrays and the lightning protection systems for the entire tower. It is a complex piece of engineering that must be perfectly balanced and aerodynamic. Placing the final piece of the spire will be the moment the Jeddah Tower officially becomes the tallest building in the world. A title it is expected to hold for a very long time. So as we watch the Jeddah Tower climb toward its 1-kilometer goal, we are watching more than just a construction project. We are watching the evolution of human engineering, the transformation of a kingdom, and the birth of a new icon for the 21st century. The speed of its growth today in 2026 is a testament to the power of persistence and the relentless pursuit of the extraordinary. The sky is no longer the limit. It is the destination. The project hasn't been without its difficulties. Of course, from geological challenges at the start to the logistical hurdles of a global pandemic, the Jeddah Tower has survived more than most construction projects. But the resilience of the engineering team and the vision of the leadership have kept the dream alive. The 2026 resurgence is a victory lap for those who stayed the course. It shows that even the most difficult dreams can be achieved if you have the resources, the talent, and the will to keep pushing upward. The aviation industry is also taking note. The tower is so tall that it requires its own specialized lighting system and coordination with air traffic control for the nearby Jeddah International Airport. It is a permanent fixture in the airspace, requiring pilots to be aware of its massive vertical presence. This is yet another example of how a building of this scale integrates into every aspect of modern life, from transportation to environmental science. By breaking it down into manageable phases and using the latest in AI and digital modeling, the team has been able to restart a dormant project and move it faster than ever before. It is a blueprint for future generations of architects and engineers, who will look at the Jeddah Tower and ask themselves, where do we go from here? Can we reach 2 kilometers? 5? The tower also represents a cultural shift. It is part of a plan to make Jeddah a global destination for art and culture. The base of the tower will house world-class museums, galleries, and performance spaces. It is intended to be a place where the world meets, a vertical melting pot of ideas and creativity. The 2026 progress shows that these cultural spaces are being prioritized to ensure the tower has a soul as well as a height. As we conclude this 2026 update on the Jeddah Tower, the overwhelming feeling is one of awe. Standing at the base of the structure today and looking up, you can't even see the top. It disappears into the haze. But you can feel the energy of the construction, the pulse of a city that is moving toward the future at lightning speed. The Jeddah Tower is growing fast, and the world is watching. It is a kilometer-high promise that the future is bright, and that human ingenuity will always reach for the stars. The fast progress we are seeing today is the result of thousands of people working in perfect harmony, a global team united by a single goal to build the impossible. From the laborer at the top to the architect in the office, everyone is playing their part in this vertical symphony. As the Megatower continues its climb through 2026 and beyond, it remains a symbol of what we can achieve when we dream big and work together. The 1-kilometer skyscraper isn't just a fantasy anymore. It is a reality that is taking shape, floor by floor in the desert sun. Every time we check in on the Megatower, it is taller, more complex, and more impressive. The 2026 update is the most exciting one yet, because it shows that the tower has passed the point of no return. It is moving toward completion with an unstoppable momentum. We can't wait to see the view from the top when the final spire is in place and the doors are finally open to the world. Until then, we will keep watching the horizon, waiting for the kilometer-high titan to take its place at the top of the world. The engineering lessons learned here will be taught in universities for the next 100 years. The innovations in concrete, the breakthroughs in elevator tech, and the advancements in wind engineering are all part of the Megatower's legacy. It is a classroom in the sky. And as the project moves faster toward its finish line, we are all students of this incredible feat of human willpower. The Megatower is more than just a skyscraper. It is the ultimate proof that we can always go higher. So the next time you look at the skyline of a city, remember the white needle growing in the Saudi desert. At this very moment, cranes are lifting steel and pumps are pushing concrete to a height humans have never lived at before. The Megatower is growing. It is growing fast, and it is a 2026 reality that we should all be excited about. The kingdom's crown jewel is almost ready to shine. Final spire, final glass, final marble, the finish line is in sight. The Megatower is a kilometer-high victory for engineering, and it is a project that will inspire generations to come. Thank you for following this 2026 update. Stay curious about the world's mega projects, because they are the physical records of our collective imagination. The sky is waiting, and Saudi Arabia is almost there.